Am I wrong for secretly eating takeout food my pregnant wife cannot eat because she has gestational diabetes? My wife, 34 female, and I, 35 male, have been married for 10 years and have been together for 15. She is 7 months pregnant and has gestational diabetes, which has been very hard on her, and by extension very hard on me too, and our relationship. Her doctor has strictly recommended she follows a strict diet, and that means no sugar or high-calorie foods such as Alfredo sauce or pizza and the likes. Naturally, she has been very upset because she has cravings, but there's no way she can indulge. She has gotten sick of the alternatives suggested to her and would start sobbing sometimes when we would go outside because she will see all these food places only to realize she cannot eat what she wants. I feel for her. I really do. Our relationship started to break down a little when she started taking her anger out on me. My offense, ordering the things I like to eat such as cookies, cheese, frozen snacks. We get groceries delivered to us, by the way. She was extremely mad at me for being able to enjoy eating these things and made me feel guilty for eating stuff she craves. My breaking point was once she angrily cried over the fact I brought home a box of donuts I received from office on my birthday. I was sick of her behavior and the constant policing of my food intake in our home that I, in no uncertain terms, made it very clear that she cannot punish me for a health problem she has, and that this is my house too, and I will eat and drink whatever and whenever I please. We had a bad argument that day and I uttered divorce. That seemed to shake us both, and we did a few sessions of marital counseling. To keep it short, our therapist held her accountable and shared that it was unfair on me to be at the receiving end of her emotional distress. However, she also emphasized that my wife is probably feeling unsupported too, and I could try to be a bit more discreet and strict to making healthier meals together, which would be great for both of us. Since my wife cannot make up for excess blood sugar, she has been working out a lot. She is chubby and has bad knees. I can see why she feels helpless. As a solution, we decided to stock up on the forbidden food in the second fridge we have in the drawing room in our home that we use to store drinks and guest snacks for. It's better when reminders of the things she craves but can't eat are not there in the common fridge. This also means I can almost never order takeout at home, and sometimes I miss doing that while watching Netflix. I still missed having the occasional pasta dish at the Cheesecake Factory or McDonald's, so sometimes when I drive home from work, I eat in my car, keeping the therapist's reminder triggers in mind. Because I know that my wife knowing that I eat stuff she can't will make her mad. Yesterday though, I took my wife on a long drive and she found a receipt of the Cheesecake Factory on the floor. At that moment when she found it, she started sobbing and wouldn't talk to me. She is now pissed at me and feels like I have betrayed her. I think she's overreacting and I don't think I am wrong, since 80% of the meals I have in a week are with her. I try to have takeout without her on Fridays mostly. I do not think I'm an asshole because my wife and I have an agreement that I will be discreet when I want to indulge in food I want to eat, so that she does not get triggered every time. So, am I the asshole? I'm gonna go with ish, okay? 1. You see how distressed she is because of the food. If I know I can't have the stuff I love, if you tell me I can't have no hot Cheetos, no Oreos, okay? Or some stuff that I love, no Thai food, and you bring that to my home, and I'm 7 months pregnant, I'm swollen, I'm tired, I'm gaining weight, I have a human growing in me, and you're gonna eat that stuff in front of me, it's gonna piss me off. And for you to say it's her health condition, you helped her get there, right? She's carrying your child, so be considerate in that sense. But where she kind of loses me, like, I agree that you should eat those foods, just not in front of her. Like, I would not care, out of sight, out of mind. I agree. If I saw the receipt, that was overkill for me a little bit. But given she is pregnant, so you gotta give her some slack. There's like an emotional change that happens that we could. I've never been pregnant, but that you can't explain. So just like give her some slack there. Women carry these babies, okay? They ruin their bodies in the process. After you have a baby, your body's never the same, right? All I'm saying is she's already 7 months pregnant. 2 more months, dude, and give up that food? Like, is it really gonna kill you? You're bitching about not eating it, right? And you're not even pregnant. Imagine how she feels, right? You're so butthurt that you cannot eat these foods. You miss having pasta, watching Netflix. Imagine her, right? So to show your appreciation, your support, like, try to be in it with her. I just think, like, eating food that she's not allowed to have and leaving it around the house is just cruel.
I've just split up a marriage. Story time. Let me start off by saying this weren't necessarily an intention of mine. I didn't fully know he was still married. I kind of did. So I had a job when I was 16. I was currently in this job, not anymore. And I basically started off as a shop floor assistant. And then as I got older, I joined the company more. I always fancied my boss. He was like mid-20s when I first started. He was sexy, definitely 6'4", and in finance. Let's call my boss Mark. As much as I fancied Mark, did know he was married. He wore proudly his wedding ring. Found it quite sexy how much he liked his wife, you know? Obviously, it was just a stupid school fantasy type of thing. So 5 years later and a few promotions later, I noticed Mark was no longer wearing this wedding ring that he so proudly demonstrated, and he also had not spoken of his wife for a hot minute. I wasn't even the first one or only one to notice this. A few of my co-workers brought it up to me like, oh my god, like a bit of gossip really. They wanted to know what had happened in that relationship, and I was going to. So we had a work social every single Thursday. Me and Mark were quite close, so I kind of just brought it up to him. I was like, hi. A lot of gossip going around the office, and I kind of worded it that way. And he didn't tell me too much. I'm not gonna lie, I've always got a flirty feel from him. However, he didn't tell me too much. He kind of just said it's just in a complicated space. However, they are not together currently. Say less. This was my chance. This was literally, I've never seen my chance so plain and clear. I flirted straight back. There was no doubt in my mind. And as you can probably guess, I did sleep with him that night. I slept around his house. This is very important. I woke up in the morning quite happy, to be honest. Like, obviously this being something I thought was a fantasy for the longest time, and it actually came to be real life. Now, of course, my manager is the CEO of a business, so I knew he had a bit of money. I knew Mark was rich. So when I heard movement downstairs, I thought maybe it was like a maid or a cleaner or something like along them lines. I got upstairs to get myself a drink of water. I was a bit parched. So you can imagine the horror on my face when I walk downstairs and I see Mark's wife there. And you can probably equally imagine horror on her face when she sees a 20-something-year-old walking down her stairs. That is obviously not her kid. Turns out this entire time Mark was lying, and him and his wife were having no troubles, were completely fine, except he just wanted to have a little fun and decided to take his wedding ring off. And obviously I started to feel really awkward when an argument started to break out, so I was just trying to walk away. However, I started getting blamed.
I confronted my husband for hiding the fact that he has another child. I met my husband 6 years ago and we got married 2 years ago. We have 2 kids together, a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. Our relationship has been pretty amazing all these years, and I was never given reasons to question him ever. We even trust each other with our phones. It's not like we are searching each other's phones to see if somebody's cheating. For example, if he's in another room and someone calls or texts him and his phone is next to me, he has to check who it is and what the text says. So a few days ago, I was sitting on the couch, my husband was doing the dishes, and he got a text. He told me to check who it is, and it was a plain number with no contact name. And the message said, I want to introduce you to my boyfriend this week. I'm sure you'll love him. I love you and miss you and can't wait to see you. I didn't even know what to think. I had no idea who it was at first, and I thought they had the wrong number. I didn't pay much attention, and I told my husband it was an unknown number and probably a mistake. As I said, I had no reason not to trust him. A couple days pass, and as I was getting ready for work, another text comes and says, so X and I will be waiting for you at Y restaurant on Saturday. Got a reservation at 7 p.m. in X name. See you then, love you. It was the same number. That's when I realized it's not an accident, so I confronted my husband about it. At first he was insisting it's an accident, but after a lengthy argument we had, he ended up admitting that he got a second SIM card, which he always takes out when he's around me, and he forgot to take it out, and that's why he got these messages while I was present. The other thing I found out was that the person who was texting him was his 17-year-old daughter, who I was unaware of. Basically at 16, he got a classmate of his pregnant, and they haven't spoken in years. He never knew if she indeed gave birth or gave up the baby for adoption. Nothing. He found out of his daughter's existence a bit before I gave birth to my 3-year-old. He hid it from me for all this time because he was afraid of my reaction and that I might not be as accepting. I confronted him about the fact that he hid it from me, and he said that after all, I had no business knowing, and how he handles the situation with his older daughter is none of my business after all. So I better quit the tantrums and suck it up. I feel so guilty that I fought with him over it because he was just trying to be a good dad and didn't want to risk losing his daughter again in case I was not accepting of the situation.
So here's an update on if I'm wrong for causing the miscarriage of my husband's affair partner. After everything that happened, my in-laws found out that my husband and I are staying separately because he also stopped sending them money for their upkeep. They called me and I told them everything honestly, including what I had said to her. And my in-laws completely took my side. They threatened to cut my husband out of their lives because of his infidelity. They were so angry about the embarrassment that he's cost them. They said the only way to make it up to them is to obtain my forgiveness. And by making it up to me, and for that I am so thankful. They also informed my parents and reassured them that they would be 100% behind me. And I've been living with my in-laws since. So it turns out my husband's mistress was never pregnant and she never had a miscarriage. She couldn't provide any proof of her pregnancy or the miscarriage. According to my mother-in-law, my husband realized only after leaving me that she wasn't pregnant. It turns out she really is my husband's distant cousin. So he wasn't lying about that, at least. The mistress apparently begged my in-laws not to tell her own family, but they went ahead and told them anyways. Word spread quickly and now she's being shamed for premarital relations, especially because they involved a married man. I don't know too many specifics, but I do know that she's apparently been put under house arrest by her parents, and she's only allowed to leave the house for essential trips. My parents are too old to really have an opinion. They are reassured that my in-laws are by my side, and they're happy with anything that I do. My husband and I are not on good terms at all, but I still love him very much. I need time to heal from this and a proper apology, which I have yet to receive. But once I do receive it, I'm inclined to take him back. I think he currently resents me because of the backlash that he's gotten. I think he was fully expecting me to be the one on the receiving end, and he's upset that his parents took my side. But eventually, I believe he will realize the errors of his way. And honestly, I don't know if this is a happy update or not, but my heart does feel lighter. So I did want to let everybody know that and to say thank you to everyone.